And welcome into JNC's podcast, everybody. We apologize for the inconvenience of last week. We didn't do a single episode, and it was very busy all over the place. Um, we do apologize, but we are back ready to rock and roll. JC, Chris, all in the business, all in the building, ready to talk to you guys about what's going on over the whole this crazy football Sunday. Uh, the crazy upset with the Jets. A lot of excitement. I'm holding everything in. I'm being normal. The Jets beat the Bills 20-17. A great game that nobody predicted. But since we didn't talk much, we didn't do anything last week. It wasn't because the Jets lost and the Giants lost and we didn't want to do anything. We was all very busy. A lot of things came up. A
It
lot of
wasn't just
party.
because that they
It
lost.
wasn't just
No, no, no.
because they lost. All right.
A
So
little part of it.
and listen, because I love coming on to when something I don't like, I love to come out and speak. And Zach Wilson did terrible against New England, but in this game against Buffalo, he did very good, very decent. Didn't lose the game for us, and he was able to close out the game with that good throw at the very end to Denzel Mims and get the first down and blah 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 and win the game. So very excited about that game. Before we get in depth to it, how are you guys doing? How are you doing, Chris? How do you feel?
Oh, good man. It's been a long week since we've been here. So we got a lot to talk about,
Literally.
and I'm ready for it.
Literally a long week. See, how are you feeling? You don't want to have much football talk for Giants.
Yeah, I mean, we
It's
didn't take an L this week, so I appreciate that. Um,
piece of
but
shit.
yeah, other than that, man, exciting week of football, man. At least the other New York team that we got won, so that's good.
Yeah, listen, man. That Jet game was insane, and the Jet defense just came out of nowhere.
You going
I
to a bye with that win? Is it a bye after this, or is it
we're
one
we're
more
on a
game?
bye week. We're on a bye week. We go
That's
into
a
the
good way
bye,
to go on a
and
bye.
yeah, it's a great way to go on a bye. It would have been better if you actually beat the better team and beat New England because you are better than New England. But it is what it is. 6-3 is still a great record going into the bye week. And then you go to New England after the bye week, and you need to steal that one, and you need to beat them because they have beat us 13 games in a row, and I'm very sick of it. We need to beat New England, but the Buffalo game. Uh, Stephon Diggs in the second half was shut down,
Non-existent.
and he only had 3 targets, and he technically had one catch, but there was a flag because of it, so it got called back. And there was even talks if that right foot was even hit the ground or not because he was bobbling the ball, but not a real conversation. But Diggs second half shut down. Allen had no answers for the fact that Diggs was covered really well, and Allen tried to scramble and use his legs, and the Jets stopped that too. So I think the two big takeaways from this game for teams that go up against Buffalo, obviously, is very hard to do since this is their lowest points ever this week, lowest passing yards for Josh Allen, lowest touchdown passes, lowest everything that they had offensively was this week. But if you want to beat Buffalo Bills, you have to shut down Stephon Diggs and you have to shut down Josh Allen's legs. Chris, any takeaways you want to speak about that Jet and Bills game?
Yeah, I guess the big takeaway you get from that game is that your defense is always gonna keep you in the games, and that's a big reason why you're 6-3, and that's a big reason why I think the Jets could have a deep playoff run. Now the big if is always just the offense. Zach Wilson. Um, still his second year. He still does dumb mistakes. But I feel like as long as he limits the mistakes and the defense continues to perform, I see no reason why the Jets can't make a deep playoff run. In my opinion.
Um, yeah, it's hard I'm excited, but it's also hard to talk about deep playoff runs for me just because that defense is so elite. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner are just different, and I love the corners, but yeah, I mean, right now. I was telling C earlier, I was like, I'm so excited because this team, if they could get into the playoff and get playoff experience as a young core as they are, next year is where the real excitement really comes. And if Zach Wilson improves more from what he is now until the end of the season, I will be off my chairs. C, anything big you want to talk about with that game?
No,
What's your
I mean, like
takeaways?
I said, I told you the Jets defense. I wanted to see how the Jets defense did against Buffalo. I was not expecting a W. I mean, I don't think
I don't
I
think
was.
nobody did.
I don't
They
think
were
anybody.
12 and a half point favorites.
It was absolutely insane. So, um, one thing I will say is if I was a betting man, this year, if you're 10 and if you're 10 plus points favor on any team, I'm taking the underdog because
The
Buccaneers were 10 and was what I think was -13 when they were facing
Steelers
the Steelers
and took
and
an L.
took an L. The Jets just did it again with Buffalo. So I don't know if I was a betting man, I would just start flipping that script because that's crazy. But I thought that I was like, I wanted to see how this defense was going to slow down Buffalo, and they didn't just slow down Buffalo; they took the W. So that's actually the I think the biggest takeaway is the W.
Oh
So
no, yeah, 100%. Let's talk fantasy related. On the Jets offensive end, Garrett Wilson back to back 17 plus point weeks. I think Garrett Wilson is Zach Wilson's number one guy.
I love to see it.
Wilson had 8 receptions for 92 yards, and the very next guy right after him was Uzama with 3 receptions for 16 yards. So there's a big gap, and I think Wilson is a startable player from now into a good flex, I believe. And I really like him as a flex option. I really think that if you wanted to trade for Garrett Wilson, it had to be 2 weeks ago before these 2 weeks where you could have got him for very cheap. I think now I don't know if you could trade him unless you guys think that he is a trade suitor now at this point. Do you think you should trade him or you think you should hold on to him now?
I think as being a Garrett Wilson owner, I wouldn't want to shop him. I think this connection can only get better. And it has been getting better. I think that, as Zach Wilson continues to get comfortable, as he continues to throw a little bit more each and every game, he's going to him and Wilson's connection is going to. I mean, they share the same last name. I mean, come on, that
Wilson to Wilson.
what better connection is that? So
Wilson to
I think he's
Wilson.
a good keeper.
All right. Let's talk about the running game from the Jets, as both running backs from the Jets scored, and they both equally together put the normal amount of yards that Brees Hall would do by himself, but they did a really good job. We talked about it earlier. When James Robinson first got traded, see, he was like, "Is that good for him?" And you think it's good, and I said yes, and I think I stand by it. Not only because of this game, but I think he got more comfortable with the Jets offense, and I think he's going to get more opportunities after this bye week when he gets the whole playbook already in. Uh, James Robinson had 13 carries for 48 yards, and then he had a receiving touchdown. Michael Carter really had the better ground game. He had 12 carries for 76 yards and a touchdown. Chris, is there one running back you feel more comfortable with starting, or do you not like them at all, or do you think they're both startable running backs moving forward?
I feel comfortable starting Michael Carter. Just because we've seen how good he was last year. And now it looks like you know with Brees Hall hurt, James Robinson coming in hasn't really taken away too much from him. Snaps wise, productivity wise. So I like Michael Carter going forward. I think he's a definite flex start every week in and out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. They're pretty much splitting at this point. This is like what it was when
Hmm.
Brees Hall, in like the first week in the like first 2 games, there was Carter and Brees Hall going back and forth every other snap. But I think goal line, I think they are going to give it to Robinson. Um, a little when they're a little bit closer. I think if they're like at the red zone, they're gonna give it to Carter, and then they'll switch it to Robinson and the red zone. Um, Carter looked really good, and Robinson, I think he's gonna get more opportunities. He had a lot of chances where he had this one big run, and I didn't think he expected it, and he ended up tripping by himself, and then he fell. And if he didn't trip, he probably doesn't run it to the house, but he probably runs like an extra 15 yards, and that turns into 13 yards and then like 70, another 60-yard game. So it would have been great. But I think Robinson is getting the hang of the system, and I really do like it. If before we move on to Buffalo, Elijah Moore again, back to back, no
To back.
targets, back to back to back, no targets, no receptions. The Jets are not playing with what he did, and you could tell that he's in the doghouse. And the thing about it is that he's in the snaps. Like they're using him to go in motion. They're using him to do a run around Zach Wilson to do a fake. So you know the Jets are using him, but they're also putting him in the doghouse. When do we think this ends for him? See, what do you think? What do you think?
That's hard to tell. I mean, they had a game yesterday where you would think, okay, it's a close game. Maybe they use their guy now. You know, he's a talent. It's not like he's bad. You know, he's a great
Really
wide
good,
receiver.
really good.
So I'm like, yo, you're facing the Bills. You know, you have a chance of coming up with this W. Let's use both our wide receivers and let's make it easier for our quarterback. But that wasn't the case. He continued to stay in the doghouse, continues to be in the decoy. So honestly, for a timetable for when this ends, they've won 2 out of the last 3 games with him in the doghouse. So I think he's not really a big. I just can't say when the timetable will
Yeah,
be.
it's
You just have
it.
to see it.
I will say that something positive is gonna come because before this Buffalo game, when they lost to the Patriots, they asked him how's his chemistry with Zach Wilson. He said, I don't know, I don't get the ball. And then during the week, they talked to him again. He said, I'm gonna be positive from now on. He's like, I had a great practice with the team. I feel great going into this week. So I think he's learning as a young wide receiver. Like I overreacted.
Like to
I'm in the doghouse. Now I gotta be all positive, and I gotta just and then eventually they're gonna open the playbook and I'm like, you Wilson, you can throw to him now. Like he get him out of them. Chris, he's droppable for now, right? There's no stashing Elijah Moore at this point, right?
yeah. No.
Yeah,
Uh,
no. Yeah, I don't think there's any points. I mean, keep him around. I mean, as you know, as long as the offense continues with doing, Garrett Wilson is getting his touches. You know, the running
oh,
game is
he's
looking good. The defense are good. You don't really have no space for him on your team right now.
yeah,
You
right
know.
now it's not really moving. Before we switch over to the Buffalo offense, did you guys see that Garrett Wilson catch that was out of bounds with the one-hander? Did anyone see that one?
Yeah, that was
I didn't see
yeah,
that
that
one.
was nasty.
Oh, see you,
I gotta watch
you,
that.
you as a fantasy owner, Wilson gave him a shot for a post, and he was already out of bounds, but the guy jumped up with him, and he just one-handed it and was like,
Oh, the one that didn't count.
the one that
I
didn't
thought it
count. No,
counted. Yeah,
no,
I saw
no, no,
that one.
no.
I did see that one.
If that would have counted, I would have jumped out of my seat if that would counted because he
I did
mossed
see
him.
that one because
He
I was
mossed him.
watching Red Zone, but they had the Jets game on a lot because they were like,
Oh.
wow, they even Red Zone was like, yo, we gotta keep this. This game is good, man. It's
No,
crazy.
listen, it's exciting as a Jet fan. Like I literally lost my mind that we beat them. Now you think about playoffs, but now we look at the schedule. You got New England, and then after that, it's a little bit of a breeze. We now the schedule gets a little lighter. I think we have Jacksonville, we have Chicago, who is not even a cheap game anymore because Justin Fields. We could talk about that a little bit, but he looks like the best quarterback coming out of that draft so far.
So
But
question, if the Bills somehow, I mean, it's not like I guess you can say they're gonna rape the Vikings next week, but let's just say the Vikings are actually good. Let's just say somehow the Bills lose again. Are the Jets in first place technically because they have more division wins?
it's if the Jets were to beat New England and then they were to get tied, Jets would technically be first place. But
Because I know they already had their bye. So
no, listen, so did Buffalo, and literally like I truly believe that Josh Allen's gonna go bonkers. But let's talk about their offense really quickly and discuss what's going on. So, Josh Allen, he threw the ball 34 times, 18 completions for 205 yards, 2 interceptions, no passing touchdowns. He was their leading rusher. This is where I think the Bills should have traded for Kareem Hunt. He rushed for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns. The next running back, Singletary, only rushed for 24 yards. Their running game is non-existent unless Josh Allen moves his legs. Um, what do you think you should do with these Bills run? Like, what do you do with Singletary? See, at this point,
um, you put the likely to trade option on him and then just keep him on the bench. I don't even
You
know.
think-
I think he's a guy that he's a fill-in for you. If you need someone like on a buy Mageddon week, I think this was the buy Mageddon week though. I think this was the week with the most buys, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Um,
six buys this
yeah,
week.
but if there's another week where there's a lot of buys, like next week, I know the Jets, the Ravens, stuff like that. If you're missing a running back
Yeah.
or a position at all, and you have a lot of buys in 1 week, then maybe plug him in. But I don't think he's a start candidate. I think 8 times out of 10 you'll find someone better on your roster.
Chris, do you think people should start stashing James Cook? He only had 4 carries. He had half the carries that Singletary had, and he only rushed for 15 yards. Do you think it's time to stash him, or do you stash him and hold him, or you don't think he's gonna get a chance this year?
Nah, I don't think he's gonna get a chance this year. Buffalo's too pass heavy, and they rely too much on Josh. Whether that's throwing for 40, 50 times a game to um when they need to get a first down, he uses legs. They just don't utilize the run very often, which sucks because they really do have really good running backs on the team. But yeah, I don't think there's any room for James Cook on the roster, to be honest.
Okay. I I I agree. I think if let's say you have an IR spot and there's literally like no running backs, like no startable running backs that are out there that you could plug in. If you have to pick one to stash him, you could probably get him. You could probably go after um Naheem Himes, who they did trade for, but they just didn't use him this game. I'm not sure why. Maybe he just wasn't with the playbook just yet, but it's very interesting. Stephon Diggs, 5 receptions for 93 yards. That all came in the first half. In the second half, non-existent. Um, I was talking to Drew about this because he has Diggs in our league. I said, look, I'm like, you're you're hoping he can help you win your week, but he's probably not going to be that guy to win the week for you. It's probably going to be somebody else. I would be surprised if he actually does go
Mhm.
crazy. Like I did say that I did think that he would expose Sauce, and then I just got shut up. And Sauce said, "Nah, I'm just that guy. I'm him." And Sauce and DJ Reed did a great job. Sauce on the very first play, Diggs did beat Sauce in a big route and a big play, and after that, that was it. Diggs, Diggs is the elite. He's gonna get his, but yeah, that was pretty much it. Not much real concern about stuff on Diggs, right? It was just a very tough matchup.
Yeah, that's all it was. He
Yeah.
was lost in the sauce. That's all it was.
Very, very tough matchup. Are you obviously not sitting him, but do you think that teams are gonna start realizing that they have to put more pressure on Diggs, seeing that Josh Allen for the first time didn't know what he was doing in the second half?
Um, I would say so. I'm pretty sure people are gonna take this tape from the Jets game and be like, wait, the Bills can lose. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna take this and most definitely follow suit.
So let me just show you guys this right here. Total plays from the Jets and the Bills. They evenly had a total of 61 plays. Total yards, the Bills had 317 yards total. The Jets had 310. So a 7 yard difference against probably the second best team. Um, wait, let's just pause right there. Who's the best team in your eyes right now, Chris? The best team.
I think Philly's the best team. I think they're the best. They're the most complete team. Defensively, running the ball, Jalen Hurts passing the ball, the receivers, the running back, just everything, the offensive line, everything just is clicking with the Eagles. And I know a lot of people say that they have one of the easiest schedules, which is true, but you know then if they were losing to these teams, then we would be talking about them. Oh, they're supposed to be beating these teams,
Yeah.
you know.
And
So,
number two, who's your second
but
best
I
team?
like them. Second best, honestly,
Is it Buffalo or is it Kansas City?
yeah, I think it's Kansas City than Buffalo, in my
All right.
opinion.
So all right. So if you're they're the third best team in your eyes, the Jets were pretty much evenly with them, and they're evenly with the third best team, arguably in the whole NFL.
Hmm.
That's why this game was so drastic. See, can I ask you the same question? Are you agreed from 1, 2, 3, or you
No,
think the
I
Bills are
think
second?
I think listen, the Bills they got shut down by the Jets, but I don't think that this is uh okay, the Bills got exposed. They're done for the season.
No, yeah,
We know how to play them. No, I
yeah.
think
No, no.
the teams are gonna come in with a game plan now after watching the Jets thing and probably still get raped by the Bills and be like, wait, what
Probably.
happened? It worked for the Jets, but well, I'm sorry that you don't have Reed, you don't have Sauce, you don't have these people. It's different, but I
Yeah.
think the Bills are still crazy good. Um, uh, and I think Kansas City second. I think that they still run this league. I think it's gonna go back down to those two in the AFC championships, and I think whoever wins
So
that
so
championship.
Bills are the third best team in your eyes as well, or
No,
you
no, but I think Bills are still top. I
you
still
think
think
Bills are number
I
one, and
still
then
think Bills are still top.
and
Yeah,
then
and then I'll give it to KC, and then I'll give it to Philly.
here's a Philly 3.
hmm
Wow, they're 8-0. I don't know, man. They're 8-0. That's
That's just in
it's
my eyes.
it's your giant blood. It's all right. It's okay. You
I
can't
mean,
admit it. You can't admit it. I
I
understand.
know you as a Jets fan love to put Bills 3.
No, listen, man, I said they were the best team.
Mm.
I consider them the best team because I think that, like, I what Christian was saying was true, but I feel like at the very last point, like the I go a quarterback, and Jalen Hurts having a hell of a season, but I still think Josh Allen is better. That's the only reason
Yeah.
why I think they're better. But the running game is not. He's not wrong about the running game, and they also have Darius Slay, who locked down Jetta, locked down Justin Jefferson in that week against Kirk Cousins on prime time. But that's a very interesting thing to talk about, like who the
Yeah.
top teams. Now, with the Jets beating Buffalo, they said that Robert Saleh is now on a very high chance that he's like leaning towards coach of the year. And me and Chris talked about this last time, and we said that it's probably Dable, Robert Saleh, and Nick Sirianni from Philly. And I wanted to hear your take and try your best not to be as much of a Giant fan as you are. Who is right now you think is the coach of the year right now, almost halfway through the season?
Well, I think the New York, both New York teams have a big argument for that because look at where we were a year ago.
Yeah,
Our teams literally did a whole 360. I mean, not even. I mean, a whole 180. I mean, and it's just
there you go.
it's incredible what they've done. I'm trying to think of other teams who've made a turnaround
Well, I
so
mean, I think you
far.
have to give credit to Nick Sirianni too. I think he deserves to be in that conversation because Philly, whether people like their schedule or not, Philly's still 8-0 and they still find ways
Yeah,
to
I
win.
mean, listen,
And
you
this is
can't
with
take
a
that away from
quarterback,
them.
and this is with a quarterback, by the way, that they had questions that Jalen Hurts wasn't ready, and if he messed up, they were going to get a new quarterback next year. He obviously answered the question that he's their quarterback for
Yeah,
the future, but that what they weren't for sure. That's why they had so many first round picks. That's why once they realized that 8-0 and Jalen Hurts is the guy, they started trading away their first round picks to get their players. They started bringing in all these monsters to add into that defense, into the offense. So I think Nick Sirianni, I know it's hard because what the Jets and Giants are doing, and nobody expected it. I do think Nick Sirianni deserves a lot of credit that he's probably not going to get because of this turnaround. But Eagles being 8-0, possibly going undefeated, because the only real team that I can see them losing to is the Cowboys. And maybe if I saw the schedule, I have the schedule right here. You know, like, so you guys stop me. Okay, there's two teams that I see, but you guys stop me
the
if you think this
Vikings.
team wins. No, Washington,
Nah,
the Colts, Green Bay,
W, W,
Tennessee.
W.
That's where I don't know if that's a W
Actually,
automatically.
no, you're right because
Yeah,
Tennessee has been playing a different ball game.
Tennessee could kill you with Derrick Henry, and they probably should have beat Kansas City if Ryan Tannehill was there. By the way, Malik Willis not ready for the NFL yet. He needs to go back on the bench. Bring in Tannehill. Malik Willis only completed 5 passes.
Yeah,
I
please.
think Tennessee, if they have Ryan Tannehill, they could beat Philly. But after that, the Giants, then Chicago, then Dallas is another team, and then the Saints, and then the Giants again. Um, the Giants are playing good. They have a good defense. Um, would I pick them to beat Eagles? No, but I didn't pick the Jets to beat the Bills either. So you never know what can happen. But Chris, do you think this team goes undefeated? Do you think they go all the way?
I don't think they go undefeated, but I'll say they go 15-2, maybe. I think you're right. I think they lose at least 2 games, but it's possible with the schedule they have. They can easily go undefeated. But if I was a Philly fan, if I was, you know, the Eagles, I would want to go undefeated because they really haven't had any real test or really any real struggle. So you kind of need like that loss to kind of bring you back to reality a little bit and show that you're not this unbeatable team, because then you could go, yeah, you go undefeated and you're on this high, and then first round comes and you just get knocked out the first round. It's like,
Yeah, no, I see
you
what you
know,
mean. I mean, they Minnesota's only loss was to Philly, and Dallas also did lose to Philly as well, even
yeah,
though Cooper Rush was there. Um, I think they had a test to beat top teams, but like you said, after that, the only team that you saw was competitive was Minnesota and Dallas. After that, I can't
yeah,
find a competitive game that they played already. And divisional games are always going to be tough, so maybe the Giants could steal one, but I don't know, man. Yeah, what scares me about the Giants, and that we need to talk about this, and we can get into it a little bit, is that last week Seattle did what the Jets did similarly to the Bills. Seattle knew what the Giants' strengths are, and that's Saquon Barkley's rushing abilities and Saquon Barkley in general, and Daniel Jones' ability. They said you're gonna beat us by throwing the ball, and no one really talks about it, but. I had this kept deep in my heart because I don't like Daniel Jones. He threw 2 passes that should have been picked off, and they dropped it easy picks. You probably don't remember it because it was 2 weeks ago, but I didn't forget it because we like to give him a pass because he's playing so great and he's doing so well. But I think that's because of Dable. Geno Smith is doing good, and I think that's because of Pete Carroll. So I think Seattle defense kind of exposed the Giants a little bit, where they could show that if you shut down Barkley, which I understand is hard, if you shut down Barkley and if you shut down Daniel Jones's legs, and you tell Jones to beat you with the arm, I think is going to expose them. And I think Philly could stop that. I think Philly will expose them. I think Dallas already done it, but Giants have still never lost and got blown out, and they never beat a team and blown them out. So the Giants are winning by a field goal, by a touchdown, by 2 points, by 3 points. The Giants are figuring it out, and they're also losing by a field goal or touchdown. So if Daniel Jones could clean up a little bit more, where Dable can trust him, and if you guys could get a wide receiver for once, if you
Yeah.
could finally get one, which you didn't trade for one, which I don't think you should be mad about because the Giants were supposed to be here anyways.
Yeah.
So you take it and you keep moving. But your best wide receiver is Wandale Robinson, and I
Well,
don't think
actually, well, stat wise is Slayton right now, but
you're right. I
but
think Wando's is better, but you're right.
skill wise, yeah, you could
Yeah,
probably say one.
Wando missed a lot of games, but yeah, you're totally right. Slayton is on paper is better. I just think talent wise, Wando is more useful for you guys. But yeah, that's all you guys got, and there's throws that Danny Jones does make that they do drop. So I'm not gonna be all negative. I just don't like Danny Jones. I didn't like him from the moment they gave him
No,
that
listen,
stupid
I
name.
told you, the way I see Daniel Jones for the Giants is the way I see Jimmy Garoppolo for the San Francisco 49ers. He's a quarterback that you have no, not that you have no choice, but that you have no choice because he's the guy now. Fields is hurt and the Giants have nobody else.
Fields.
Not Fields.
I'm pretty sure you would prefer Fields.
Lance is, oh my gosh, right now, hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure
But
you prefer.
Lance is hurt, so Garoppolo's your guy. So you have to work with Garoppolo. And what's great about Garoppolo and what I'm seeing with Daniel Jones is that they're coachable quarterbacks. They'll do what you tell them to do and get the job done to the best of their capabilities and find ways to win these games. Now, what I want is a quarterback who can do that and more. Like who can, if things are not going right, his decision making is better and stuff like that. I don't think Daniel Jones is that guy.
The
But
only issue with that is that you guys are winning, so you're not getting a high draft pick. So it
yeah,
looks like he's your
and I
quarterback
have
for.
to trade
eh,
for a QB next year.
you don't really have much. It's very hard right now. It's leaning towards that you guys are gonna re-sign him for a 2-year deal probably, and or a 3-year deal. And you may. I don't like it because I just don't like him. But if Dable could do this and maybe Dable gets him a actual wide receiver to throw to, maybe he opens. You guys remember Josh Allen wasn't Josh Allen until Stephon Diggs went to the Bills. Jalen Hurts wasn't this Jalen Hurts until they got AJ Brown. it takes one elite wide receiver to help a quarterback look better. So that's one thing that I will say. I mean, I don't know if Zach Wilson is even close to what he is now if it wasn't for Garrett Wilson, because Garrett Wilson, it just makes plays for this guy. So it takes that one elite wide receiver. Um,
Yeah, but with the high quarterback class we have in the draft, if we do end up with a draft pick, I think we can at least end up with one of, if you know, the best wide receivers at least in the draft. I think we don't go that far up. So I mean, we'll see.
yeah, it all depends because you guys, your schedule is very easy. You can easily go 10, 11 wins and, you make the wild card and you guys could, get that playoff experience as well. But it's very interesting to see what the Giants are going to do coming off the bye week. They're going to Houston. I think you're home against Houston. You're going to Houston, one or the other. But I think either way, I think you guys do win it. But the one problem is you guys haven't blown anybody out and you haven't got blown out. You guys got to get that big lead and win. Every game is like nail biting, like, oh my God. And it's just scratches, and Houston's only got one win. Like, yeah, if you guys got, what do you guys, 6-2,
6-2,
right?
yeah.
So Chris, you would agree that they will kind of have to blow out Houston, right? And not a lot of people think they will, but they got to blow them out to show some type of.
They stay with the same.
Yeah, or either blow them out or just don't fall behind. Just like make score first. Don't trail in the game because that's what they've been doing. Them trailing, but then second half, they flip the switch and they, find a way to win games. But I think if they set the tone early, come out, score first, and just take the lead first, I think it's a big step.
Listen,
Honestly, just don't turn on the Giants game until the second half. That's just really what it is.
and obviously, Chris getting excited over there. I didn't have to look at my phone. Isaiah likely scored a touchdown, and all of a sudden you're back in your matchup. Pretty funny. Saints and Baltimore playing right now. Baltimore's up 7-0. As the game is going. Let's talk about. I mentioned him and Justin Fields. His performance the last couple weeks.
They finally let him loose, man. They fought him.
They let him loose. Fantasy wise, 20, 25, 30, 48. It just gets higher and higher. Next week, he might do 55 because I'm starting him. Or he might give me a donut. Who knows? Who even knows? But Justin Fields, holy crap. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I wish Justin Fields was my quarterback. Yeah, I am going to say that. I think the Jets should have drafted Justin Fields. I think he should have been, he was the ranked number 2 guy for everybody else. Jets just prefer Zach Wilson, but Justin Fields is a monster. He broke the record for 178 yards rushing, most rushing yards for NFL quarterback. He threw 3 touchdowns against Miami Dolphins, and I believe he rushed one. Yeah. He had
2 to Cole Kmet. Is he a pickup Met now?
And one to Darryl Mooney. If Justin Fields is blowing up, guys, the names we just said, are we picking up Darryl Mooney? Are we starting him? Or are we picking up Cole Kmet? Chris, Darryl Mooney, picking him up, starting him?
I'll pick him up and leave him on the bench, but I won't start him yet.
Cole Kmet, see.
I'm starting. I'm starting, especially next week. If Fields plays like this and they facing Detroit, give me Cole Kmet, bro. I want Cole Kmet.
Hey, Detroit got a good defense. They shut down Aaron Rodgers.
Give me Cole Kmet, bro. I want.
Detroit got a good defense.
I'm looking at some of these throws that Aaron Rodgers are throwing. And when Christian sent that text, he was like, yeah, this guy is washed. And I said, I do believe you because you can't blame the wide receivers on some of these throws. Like, I feel like he threw it just to the exactly. I'm like, what are you doing? This guy's off this year. I think
5 straight.
I think he was fine until when he thought he was gonna come into the season, try to run it back again with Davante Adams. Once Davante Adams left, it's like everything just flipped. And it's crazy, like he just doesn't even want to be there. He doesn't even want to play. He's just like, I'm done.
It goes back to your point that you said, Jay, about the Giants picking a quarterback. It goes back again. It goes back to your point that you said, Jay, how important one wide receiver could be.
Oh, yeah.
If the Giants get one wide receiver, how much better they would be.
Clearly, it doesn't work for Derek Carr because all of us, even though Adams had a great game, they're still like what 2-win. They lost to Jacksonville, despite of what they were up 17-zip against Jacksonville, and then they just
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence looked good.
Trevor Lawrence, they just came back, and it's remarkable. And you know, I just can't believe it. But Aaron Rodgers, Chris, there's a question going around in Green Bay, the fans, the radio, ESPN. I'm going to ask you this question. Your season's done. Vikings are 7-1. You're not going. You're not making the
Mhm.
wild card. You're done. Do you sit Rodgers and you see what you have in Jordan Love? Do you finally see if you have some type of quarterback in that team, or do you just ride Aaron Rodgers for no reason?
Yeah, I think you have to see what Jordan Love has. I mean, you're already halfway through the season, and like I said, I think this is Rodgers' last year, whether playing football or just in Green Bay. So, yeah, I think so. I think you got to because you need to know what you're gonna do because there's probably already questions within the coaching staff and the GMs. They probably don't even know where Aaron Rodgers' head is at right now. So if I was down, I'd say, listen, let's just see what Jordan Love got because we don't know what the heck Rodgers is gonna do next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think you gotta see what you have in Jordan Love, and hopefully you can maybe Rodgers has 2 years on his deal. Maybe if he wants to give it one more try and go to a
I think
team
he's
that,
gonna. I think he's gonna want out. He's gonna ask them get moved.
so if they trade him, they could probably get a lot of trade assets for him. Probably
Hmm.
hit the restart button. You don't
I'll
have,
take him.
uh, I was just telling C that I'm like, what scares me about the Jets, because they did this already once with Green Bay, is that they
Hmm.
would have a team built ready and trade for Rodgers and try to make that 1 year wonder like they did with Brett Favre. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's worth it. I know Aaron Rodgers is only 40 and Tom Brady's 45. So, Aaron Rodgers probably has a couple years left. But I I do not know if Rodgers were to get moved, where would he fit on a team that's built ready? I don't know if he wants to do it. I think he just calls it. I think he just retires.
Yeah,
Uh,
all of
Yeah.
them. Like let's say
I don't
let's
know.
say
I
and
think I think he goes one more time with a different team,
think so?
and then after that, I think he's done because I don't think because I think the talent is still there. I think he's just done with the team,
he
and
goes
I
Raiders
think
too.
I think after this game, he's just after this year, he just says I'm out. He requests a trade, you know, then whatever team he plays, if whatever team he's on next year, if he just
he's
craps the
gonna
bet again and
he's
he just looks washed, that's it. It's over.
he's gonna say, "Bring me to Las Vegas. I need Devontae Adams back." Um,
Yo.
see, I asked Chris the question, and I want to see your answer. Green Bay. The talk around Green Bay is that your season's done already. You're not going to catch up to the Vikings, and you're not going to win a wild card game. Do you sit down Aaron Rodgers to bring in Jordan Love to see if you have something in your backup quarterback that you drafted 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
Mm, didn't they do that already? I
Do what?
don't know. I feel like I saw love out there
You
because
saw him because Aaron Rodgers was hurt.
yeah, but listen, I don't think. I mean, might as well. I mean, honestly, if you want to, and just and figure it out after. But
Yeah, I think they need to just tank. You're not going nowhere.
no, no, like I
And
said,
Rodgers, every time Rodgers throws a ball, he's holding his hand. If you're in pain, say, "Look, I'm in pain. I'm out for the season. Bring in Jordan Love. Let me go into the beach and go on vacation. We've lost. We're done. Trade me to the Raiders next year and let me play with Devontae Adams one more time." Like I don't know what to do. Right now, fantasy wise, you don't want Rodgers. You got to like
he's droppable. I think, in my opinion,
droppable. I mean,
I think he's
if
droppable.
if Justin Fields is on your waivers still, pick up Justin and drop Aaron Rodgers immediately. I think Justin Fields is a must start for the rest of the year. I'm having an issue. We can shift over to this guy. I'm having an issue with Justin Herbert, and I'm so happy I picked up Justin Fields before this game because I am riding Justin Fields all the way because I'm done. I'm done with Herbert, bro. I'm done. I understand this time he
Mm.
had no wide
I
receivers.
think the last
I'm done.
yeah, that's what I
I'm
was gonna say.
done.
I was gonna say the last game wasn't his fault. Like they dropped so many passes.
I'm done. If
Like
I
it
put
was yeah,
Justin
I
Fields
was
in,
watching
I've
the
beaten
highlights. It's
that.
crazy.
It's frustrating. Like I beat him,
Yeah.
and he changed his name to Super Mega Spoilers, but he spoiled himself first because his team is dog crap, and he's a
Yeah.
spoiler. You can't spoil me if I'm still in first place, which I don't even know now because Isaiah Likely looked like he about to ball out. So I might just be in second place. But whatever. Like I don't care. Like it's ridiculous. Like like Justin Herbert and remember our draft, we didn't draft quarterbacks high. Justin Herbert dropped. But there are leagues that drafted Herbert at his draft position, which was the third high fourth round. Guys invested a lot for him, and he has done nothing. Done nothing. His highest game was 29 points, and that was week 2.
He's not
After
even QB 10.
after that, look what he's been doing. 14, 25, 16, 8, 22, 14. It's mediocre. It's mediocre.
Yeah, but you gotta also think too. Like he did get hurt early in the season, so he was dealing with an injury, and Keenan Allen has been out basically the whole year. Mike Williams has been on and out, on and out. So it's like they haven't really had a full healthy team yet, for the season. So I don't know. I wouldn't put the panic on him yet. Obviously, like you said, you have Justin Fields, ride him. Sit Justin Herbert down for at least the next few weeks, see what he does, see if, when and if Keelan Allen comes back, it gets better, and then, from there then you can assist it. But
I'll
I
tell you
still
one
think
thing.
Justin Herbert's just a beast.
I think that too, but you can't even say that anymore. You really can't. Like you can't say that this year. It just hasn't shown. Like I tried to defend this guy for weeks. I'm like he's gonna blow up eventually. And for this second half of the season, he has the third quarterback friendly schedule for the rest of the season, and I still do not trust him. The only tough matchup he has is San Francisco next week. No way in hell I'm starting him. He needs to He needs to sit down in the bench. He does not have San
Yeah, I'm
Francisco.
starting Kirk Cousins next week.
Yeah, it is against Buffalo. Oh, I like that.
I got him in my other league.
I
Yeah, I
like
got him
that.
in my other league. Yeah.
But it really does suck. The only person that benefits off of this is Austin Eckler. Awesome excellence. That guy
Austin Eckler is
is a
amazing.
beast.
Even
He
with the fumble, he had 26 points. Crazy.
Yeah, Austin Eckler, he's the only guy left on that offense. At this point, Eckler is the offense, and it's not enough for Herbert to produce. And I'm sorry to go to like a dud type of player, but I'm very upset with Justin Herbert, and I'm just done, bro. I'm done. And you can't really trade him for nothing because I don't think no one's gonna buy into him since he hasn't done nothing. What they're gonna buy into? The only person you could probably talk to is the Keenan Allen owner and say you could probably get the combo when he comes back. Probably, but that all depends on what people have. Like the Keenan Allen owner in this league got Trevor Lawrence, and I'd rather just go with somebody else too. Like I don't like that guy either. I don't get it, but yeah, Justin Herbert. It's just not it. Now I'm going to shift over to the other quarterback that got drafted hot before him in the same draft class. Tua Tagovailoa is having himself a fantasy. Man, this guy is having the year that I thought Justin Herbert was going to have. By the way, Tua, when he starts and finishes the game, is undefeated. He has not lost a game when he started and finished the game this year. He has not lost. See, talk about Tua because you biting your lips over there.
Tua tongue on a listen. Let me tell you, Tua. We talk about when I'm gonna go back to this again. What difference one elite wide receiver can do?
Tyreek Hill
is
a beast.
And we talk about the difference for one elite wide receiver. Tua has two. Tua has two.
The best wide receiver combo.
It's absolutely insane. So if we can sit here and say that one wide receiver can turn around your whole team, imagine if you have two, and that's exactly what Tua is doing. Tua is terrible. I don't like him. He's a bad quarterback, but with these two wide receivers, you can't go wrong. I know I had to say it like that because I don't want to say that. I don't want people to think that I'm on the Tua train. I think he's amazing. No, I think he's bad. If you watch this guy throw deep bombs to Tyreek Hill, how many times, and I see it a lot, how many times Tyreek Hill has to stop and adjust and track the ball. He's so lucky that Tyreek Hill does that so well. He does that so good. And in the red zone, how great of a route runner Waddle is in the red zone. I'm telling you, these wide receivers are making him look tier 1 when I think he's not.
This guy did you see after the game they had an interview with
I know what you're gonna talk about.
And she asked her, she was like, so
Anything you
She was
would
like,
need to
"How is he?"
improve on?
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, man, he's the most accurate quarterback in the league," and then winked at the camera.
No, he said that he's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cap.
No, yeah, no, she
Oh no.
said what he had to say
I
about
heard
Tua.
accurate too, though.
No,
Yeah,
no,
her
no.
accurate too.
No, and it was on Red Zone because then they made a big deal about it.
Yeah,
She asked him about him. He said he's the best quarterback in the league, and
that's
he
crazy.
did that, and it went all
Hyping
over
him up.
Red Zone. You said Tyreek Hill, who's by the way, he's this year's Cooper Cup.
Oh yeah.
Everybody thought it
Yeah.
was. Everybody thought it was like myself. I thought it could be Cortland Sutton. I thought it could have been Allen Robinson. I thought it could have been Mike Williams. I thought it could have been somebody to get it, but he is leading the league in receptions, and he's in a break close. He's very close to. He's on pace to break the reception total in
Yeah,
a full
yards.
season. He's just receptions alone. He's on target to break
Yeah.
what Cup did last year. Let me just tell you how many receptions he has gotten. I'm not even going to say
Got it
yards.
right here.
He got 8, 11, 2, 10, 12, 7, 12, and 7 receptions. Now, the targets is insane. 12, 13, 4, 14, 7, 15, 13, 14, 8. The yards that Tyreek Hill is getting a game 94, 190, 160, 33, 47, 177, 72, 188, 143. Tyreek Hill is a monster this year.
It's just not
He's
fair.
at wide receiver 1. He is the best wide receiver in the league right now. And I don't think it's going to change. He gets Tua throws the ball a ton to him, and then he throws to the number 5 wide receiver in fantasy, and that is Jalen Waddle. So I understand you don't like Tua, but there got to be some respect that he starts and finishes the game and has not lost this year. Yes, like I said earlier, wide receivers can make you look better, but these guys make him look like a star. And he may not be a star, but they're not going nowhere. They just traded for Tyreek Hill and signed him. Jalen Waddle's on a rookie contract. This duo is gonna be for years.
I just think it's very easy to throw to a guy who has nobody around him, and that's what Tyreek does. I mean, he runs so fast.
Oh
He just
yeah,
runs absolutely so fast that you just can't. The only defense who has shut him down this year has been Buffalo, and that's understandable because Buffalo's defense is.
the Jets shut him down too. By the way,
But they just did shut
we're
him
with the
down.
third string quarterback, but I don't care. He got shut down
Hey,
too.
he said he could make numbers with anybody. So
That's
like,
he said it. He said I could throw him the ball and he could get
that's
open.
what I'm
That's what he
saying.
said.
So like that, I don't listen. You guys shut him down, so you can do.
But
Like I said,
listen, it's insane that 2 of the top 5 wide receivers are from the same team. And this is by far the best wide receiver duo that we have seen in a while. And before the season started, if we would have named top 5 duos, they probably would have been number 5 or maybe not made top 5. Because you think about Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, you think about oh my God, I can't even think of names right now. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. You think of like duo in it, and if you add combo with tight end, you think about Kelsey and a wide receiver. You think about Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfro. I think I would have said before Hill and Waddle, and that's a big mistake.
a lot of people were saying like before the season, Cup and Allen. They thought
Cup and Allen.
when everybody thought Allen was gonna be relevant.
Yeah, and that is just insane right now with Miami. And now this division with the Jets that they're in is a very tight pickle because the very last team that they play to end their season is against the Miami Dolphins. Oh, I can't wait for that game. I have that game circled on my calendar. I wish I could go to Miami to watch that game, but I don't want to get beat up by Miami fans. I want to be there because that's gonna be a great game. I would love to see the best duo cornerbacks against the best duo wide receivers. That is gonna be a game to freak out. I can't wait. I can't wait. But there's a lot more football left to go. Like we said, Miami is off fantasy wise having a great game, but here comes the negative. Jeff Wilson got traded to Miami, and Jeff Wilson outsnapped Raheem Mostert already, and the week just started, and he just got back. Where is your concern level with Raheem Mostert right now? See.
80, 90%. Like that's crazy. Like this guy just got off the plane here. They gave him a playbook. The next game he's over here out snapping you. Wait, what? What is
Yeah,
that's very concerning. I think they got him for a reason. They didn't like what they I guess they didn't like what they saw with Chase Edmonds. They didn't feel like he was gonna be the guy. They sent him away. Their plan was simple. We're gonna trade away Chase Edmonds and we're gonna go get Jeff Wilson, and that's exactly what they did. And because they like what Jeff Wilson was doing in San Fran, and they realized, hey, they got Christian McCaffrey. They don't need Jeff Wilson. We like him. We got him, and they're using him.
Yeah.
So
Mike McDaniel, the head coach, came from San Francisco. He was the offensive coordinator from San Fran.
That's true.
So he knows those running backs. He knows Mostert. He knows Jeff Wilson. So he already knows how to mesh them together. Chris, let me ask you your concern level with Mostert that already first game in, and this wasn't a blowout game. Miami won 35-32. So if they wanted to use their better running back, they would have. They went to Jeff Wilson, and he would outsnap Mostert. Where is your concern level?
Yeah, my concern level was really high up there, especially because I have Mostert and I was, excited, seeing how well he was doing, it was exciting. But yeah, it's really high up there because, I had Jeff Wilson as well. Then when Christian McCaffrey came to the situation, I dropped him quickly, and then Miami picked him up. So, but
Go on and put a
Jeff
waiver right
Wilson
now.
is he's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think somebody already
makes
picked him up
sense.
actually, but
No, he actually is a
yeah,
reaction.
he's. Oh no, shy, and I'm like number 10. But
I still have him in
yeah,
my job league. I'm glad I didn't drop
it's
him.
definitely
Oh.
a big one.
No, it's great.
Oh my
If
God,
Justin
lucky.
Fields isn't the number one guy out there, I think the number one waiver pickup is Jeff Wilson. But if Fields is out there, let me just click his name because I know I have him on my roster, but he's probably available. Yeah, Justin Fields is only rostered in 47% of leagues. So Justin Fields
That's
is the
crazy.
number one guy to pick up on your waivers. If not, Jeff Wilson, pick him up now because if he just got traded and already outsnapped Mostert, imagine a whole week of practice what that does. Jeff Wilson, a big pickup. That's probably the only negative from the Miami side, fantasy wise. Let's talk about one more game, and we can't talk about fantasy and not talk about what this man did to this defense. If you don't know where I'm going, you're about to find out. This man, I'm not gonna say his name yet. He had 22 carries for 153 yards rushing, 4
Yo, chips on it.
rushing touchdowns, and he was not done. He had 4 receptions for 58 receiving yards and a passing touchdown, a total of 5 touchdowns. Joe Mixon had himself a day. And he made Aaron's squad look like a decent team for once this week. My God, this guy went crazy. He did 55.1 points in fantasy. Ridiculous. Is he going to do that again?
Absolutely
Absolutely not. But he had himself a day. Joe Mixon went bananas. And do you expect not this production, but do you expect Joe Mixon to be a top 5 running back with Jamar Chase out of the picture? Yes or no? C.
Jamar Chase. Yeah, I think they had to figure out something because Jamar Chase absolutely is a factor because their team looked absolutely different once he was hurt. Like I thought it was gonna be Higgins' season. I thought he was just gonna be the guy. I thought he was good enough to be the guy, but I guess they're shifting their focus. They was like, okay, let's move to the run game now. And I see him having a good second half of the season.
Um, I agree, and the offense did change. Now I'm gonna ask the question, Chris. Do you sell Mixon as high as you possibly can after this game?
If you're in desperate need of like maybe wide receiver talent or something, you could possibly, try to move him, but no, I think you should definitely hold on. I wouldn't move him at all. Especially
Yeah,
if Chase is gonna be out for a couple more weeks.
yeah.
Just ride the high.
Yeah, right now they're heading into the bye week, so he gave you enough points to even help you next week. Somehow he gave you enough points to help you next
To
week.
help you with
But-
the season and total.
Yeah, to help you out because he right now he's a running back 2, but he really isn't a running back 2 right now. That
Yeah.
one game puts him at the number 2 spot, but for the whole season he's been he's been either okay, and then he's been 21 points, 11, 6, 17, 11, 16, 18, 12, and then 55. He's been pretty much mediocre. He hasn't been what you expected because a lot of people drafted him with a high first round, a late first round, or a high second round. So you finally got the payout for this one game.
Yep.
If you feel like you need to trade him because of that one game, or you hold him until Jamar Chase comes back, then you do that. But I do think once Chase does come back, it probably goes right back to mediocre world, and he's not what you drafted him for. That's what I
Yeah.
think.
Of course,
And
I
they could,
faced him. I knew I have 3 leagues, so I'm like, I'm facing him somewhere, and he absolutely. If I lose my game, which I'm pretty sure I do, it's gonna be all because of him.
I saw
Like
a video and it was Joe Mixon owners walking to work this morning. He just walking mad calm and fine, like
test out.
yeah, game all over. Um, Joe Mixon's next couple matchups is Pittsburgh, Tennessee, the Chiefs, the Browns, Tampa Bay, New England, and Buffalo. Mixon doesn't have an easy schedule. So I really do think you give him at a high price. Um, see, if I go to you and I give you Joe Mixon and Kirk and Christian Kirk for Austin Eckler, do you take it?
No, 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 no. No.
Joe
You
Mixon
gotta
and
give me a different
Christian
name.
Kirk.
You gotta give me a different name. Eckler
Mm.
is proving to be the number one guy.
But I'm just saying you sell him as high as you possibly can. So if I offer if I do Joe Mixon and like a decent wide receiver, let's go Tyler Lockett. Joe Mixon, Tyler Lockett for Derrick Henry. Why are you laughing? It's a real question.
Derrick Henry look like he's playing.
But-
Bro, Derrick
but-
Henry is different.
By the way, Derrick Henry is the Tennessee Henrys. That's I'm gonna call him at this point because this man does not.
Just
Chris-
real quick, everybody who doubted Henry,
Let's go.
you're
Say it
stupid.
again.
I'm
Say
not
it
even
again.
saying it nicely.
Say it again.
You're just stupid. Why would you ever doubt this man? Like, I know he was doing it the whole time.
Listen, I doubted his health. I never doubted
Oh,
him.
you're stupid.
No, I doubted his health. Listen, he's lasted longer than I thought. I doubted his health because I knew they were gonna use him.
Listen. There's a lot of games left, and that health could legit come to happen. But I don't hope that happens because he is carrying me.
No, but listen, if he
taking
plays
me.
the whole season, he's by far one of, if not the best running. But he's showing it here. He's showing.
He's
it
the
here.
best.
He's
He's
the monster.
like if you need a yard or if you need a goal line running back, there's no one else you rather
There's
have
no one better.
than that
Yeah.
monster behind you. If you're talking about a passing down running back, then you talk about Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, and maybe Brees Hall because he was a beast, but whatever. But when you're talking about when you want yards and you want to beat up a defense and hit them hard, you give them Derrick Henry, and that's just a beast. Literally. Joe Mixon had a great game on the Bengals side. Joe Burrow gave you a mediocre kind of performance really because Joe Mixon went crazy. Joe Burrow with 200 yards passing, a touchdown. That's pretty much it. T Higgins gave you a solid PPR game. Like we said, this is all about Joe Mixon. Nothing else to really talk about there. On the Panther side of the ball, the whole Panther team was non-existent. Deontay Foreman, after did what he did last week, non-existent. DJ Moore, non-existent. The only guy I want to talk about who should be in the top 5 waivers. He should be in the top 5 is Marshall Jr. Marshall caught 3 balls for 50 yards and a touchdown. He might be that guy, that Robbie Anderson guy on the Panthers. And I think you should pick him up. And I think you should hold him in and you can probably flex him in with these bye weeks coming up. You could plug him in and start him. Marshall is a very good target to pick up. And besides that, there's not much to talk about. They took out PJ Walker. They brought in Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, those 2 garbage touchdowns, and then they named PJ Walker their starter for next week. AKA, we're tanking. So
Yeah.
let's move
GG.
on. We're not gonna get into every game, but if there's one more game I want to talk about, that is the Seattle Seahawks. This team is a real team. This team is real. Seattle beat the Cardinals 31-21, and this team is real. Kenneth Walker is the real deal. That guy is a great rookie. If you was able to pick him up off waivers, if you drafted him and stashed him until now, it paid off. Cause Walker is a beast. Walker had himself a great day, 26 carries for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game for him. And another name to talk about, Noah Fant started to show himself a little bit with the Seattle Seahawks. 5 receptions for 96 yards, led the Seattle Seahawks in receiving yards. Um, what's going on with Seattle? They were supposed to be the team that was tanking. Somebody explain to me what's going on with this team.
Gino's the guy. I mean,
Ugh.
he's nah. Listen, Gino's playing well actually. Like I'm not to be funny or anything, but he threw that one into okay. I mean, no, he is still Gino, but I think the problem is that when people think about Gino, they have New York Gino in the back of their head, and it tanks their mind about Gino. But I think with good coaching like he has right now and a good team around him, look, he's a pretty decent quarterback and he's getting the job done. He has weapon. Walker's amazing. Lockett and Metcalf, we already knew are amazing. So
Another example, elite wide receivers
oh,
make
yeah.
quarterbacks look
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I don't know. This episode is basically a quarter
It's what it
average
is.
quarterbacks with elite wide receivers
I already
means
know the title of the video. It's just another-
it just make them look good, and it's remarkable. Let's talk about another guy on the opposite field, DeAndre Hopkins. What if you stashed him, and if you was a playoff team already, plus Hopkins, put your thumbs down. You're not a playoff team yet. I wasn't talking about you just yet. I said if you are a
Yeah, yeah,
playoff team,
bro. Comeback
if
season.
you are a playoff team and you stashed them, wow, your team is probably a beast. And if you're on the verge of coming
Bro,
back,
I'm a
now,
super
now,
team. What you talking about?
now, oh yeah, you're a super team. I forgot. If you're on the verge of coming back, this guy is bringing you back into your games. Hopkins, 20 points, 33 points, and then he gave you a 13-point game. And then he goes up against the Rams. Jalen Ramsey's not the guy anymore, so he don't phase me. San
He's not him.
Francisco, Hopkins is that second half season league winner for a lot of people, and it's very scary if you have him and he's your third wide receiver on your team, which will be remarkable. Hopkins having himself a great game. Um, Rondell Moore. I picked him up in a couple leagues, but Rondell Moore had 8 catches for 69 yards. He started to open himself up into this offense with no Marquise Brown, and Robbie Anderson is making sure that he drops every ball that he fought for to get traded to the Cardinals. So it looks very well to be a Rondell Moore owner. So I think Rondell Moore, if he is available, pick him up. He is a
Yeah.
great bye-week fill-in to put in your flex. Murray loves to throw him the ball, especially that the more people realize that Hopkins is not washed, they're going to start doubling Hopkins all over again. Rondell Moore is going to get a lot of one-on-ones. A great pickup for Rondell Moore. James Conner came back this week, and it didn't show on the stats, but James Conner did not want to be put down in that matchup. They could not tackle him, and he only had 7 carries, and that's because they were losing by a lot. But if he had more carries, James Conner would have had a great game. James Conner is a plug-in. He's back healthy, automatic start. Plug him into your lineup. James Conner all the way. He looked great this week coming back from his injury. Not much to take away. Before we end the show, I do want to talk about one more player that came back from injury, and I made sure to remind people I'm still him. Look at handsome boy. Patrick Peterson. I forgot my whole damn word already. What's this guy's name? There it is. Cordero Patterson came back from injury, and he scored 2 touchdowns and scored 18 fantasy points. He remind everybody, once I'm healthy, I'm healthy.
Bro,
Patterson,
Do you see him truck that man for
yeah,
the 2 points to the end zone, bro?
he's just so good.
Just
He's
sad.
just so good. He's such a good running back / wide receiver that if it's so good to have him back in the fantasy world because I love to see him play. He's a really good player.
I
Patterson,
love to see him play too.
yeah, we know. Yeah. You love to see him play on your super team. Patterson now is great coming off his IR. You plug in Patterson from now on and don't think about it. He is on your starting lineup. That is most of everything that we try to cover as much as we can about this week. We could our next episode, we will talk more about the Thursday night preview. We'll hit you guys with some more waiver targets to hit for because there are a lot of bye weeks coming up with a lot of big team names, including Baltimore, the Jets on bye week. There's probably more teams that I just don't remember right now. But we will end the show just like this. What is the score in Baltimore? It is 7-0 still
7-0, yeah.
of this recording. Hopefully, Isaiah Likely breaks both his ankles and we are back in business, baby.
Hey,
Nah, I'm just kidding. I would never hope for
I
injury.
knew.
I just want Isaiah Likely to not catch a single ball anymore. I want to be tied for first place. Let's go. It is Jay, it is C, it is Chris, and it is Angel with you guys saying hi. And let's go, Jets. Jets, 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 Jets. We'll see you guys next episode. Bye.